5,705. That's the most recent tally of just how many nuclear weapons there are in the world right now. The US, China, Russia, the UK, France, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea each hold nuclear weapons as a part of their military's armaments, with most nuclear weapons far more potent than the bombs that ravaged Japan in the twilight of World War II. As of March 2022, around 3,732 of these, or roughly 30% of the world's total nuclear weapons inventory, are deployed with operational forces. In other words, should worse come to worst, these nuclear weapons are ready to go at short notice. 3 out of the 9 nuclear states currently do not have any nuclear weapons deployed. Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea. On the other hand, reports have been inconclusive on the number of nuclear weapons deployed by China and India. That would leave the US, Russia, the UK, and France as the only nuclear states in the world with publicly available information on just how many nuclear weapons they have deployed at this time. So just how many nukes does each nuclear state have in its possession? The vast majority of these nuclear weapons, over 90%, are in the possession of the US and Russia. North Korea's nuclear arsenal is the smallest in the world, thought to be at 20. Israel has 90. India has 160. Pakistan 165. And the UK at 225. Over half of the UK nukes are currently deployed at 120. France has the next largest nuclear arsenal at 290. Nearly every nuclear weapon in their possession is currently deployed, with 280 thought to be with operational forces. Next up on the list is China, with 350 nuclear weapons. The US has the second largest number of nuclear weapons in its inventory, at 5,428. That's almost 5 times bigger than the rest of the world's combined nuclear inventory. Even their 1,644 deployed nukes outnumber the rest of the world's arsenal. Besides Russia. That leaves Russia, the country with the largest number of nuclear weapons at its disposal, at 5,977 total. They are believed to have slightly fewer nuclear weapons currently deployed than the US, at 1,588. So how did the US and Russia's nuclear arsenals grow to be so large? At the end of World War II, the world was split into 2, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War. During this time, tensions were rising among the US and Russia, with the 2 countries engaging in a nuclear arms race. This is partly why their nuclear arsenals are so much disproportionately larger than the rest of the world. Thankfully, the first and last instance of nuclear weapons being used in wartime occurred during World War II. The US and Russia primarily stockpiled nuclear weapons throughout the 20th century to function as a deterrent. This was to maintain the condition that any direct hostilities from either country would result in mutually assured destruction. In 1985, almost 40 years after the beginning of the Cold War, the number of nuclear weapons in the world peaked at 61,662. Among the nuclear-armed countries during this time was South Africa, which held 6 nuclear weapons. Since then, South Africa has left these ranks, with several countries looking to follow in the coming years, thanks to the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons is an international agreement whose signatories agree either never to acquire nuclear weapons, to share the benefits of peaceful nuclear technology, and to pursue nuclear disarmament, aimed at the ultimate elimination of their nuclear arsenals. Russia and the US have also engaged in talks to further reduce their still massive nuclear weapons stockpiles, beginning with the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty in 1991, and subsequently the New START, which saw the treaty's renewal in 2010. This second agreement between the two countries could see their stockpiles further reduced into February 2026. Despite the disarmament of most of the weapons produced during the Cold War, the world is still a long way from the peace of mind only complete global nuclear disarmament can grant. Here's hoping humanity will live to see that day.